faithful Niner Empire. What's good? What's good? What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Welcome back, faithful Niner Empire, the best fans in the NFL. What a time to be a 49er fan. The 49ers, of course, are on a 7-game winning streak, looking to make it 8 games when we beat down the Washington Commanders. But, this game is going to be on Christmas Eve. So obviously, happy holidays to everyone out there. And a huge shout out to you for watching the 49ers Cutback YouTube channel and another episode of What's Good with yours truly, Jay in the Bay. I'm excited for this game. What do we know about the Washington Commanders? They are, if the playoffs ended today, we would play the Washington Commanders for the first game of the playoffs at Levi's. So it's good that we're playing them now because we may have to play them again, in a matter of weeks. I'm not really concerned about the Commanders' offense. Taylor Heineke, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he's solid. I think he's keeping the Commanders afloat. He's got a 2-to-1 TD to interception ratio, so he's okay. The Commanders do have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They've got some good names I'm sure that you've heard about. Scary Terry. We've got a young rookie, Josh, out there. They also have Curtis Samuel. They have Logan Thomas, who's a solid tight end. I thought he had a few better seasons a few years ago, but they definitely have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They love to run the ball with Brian Robinson. They have a dual threat running back attack. Their backup running back, Gibson, he actually is third in the team in catches. So they like to use him out of the backfield as a receiver. But make no mistake about it, this Washington Commanders team wants to run the ball. And this is obviously something that the 49ers do very well on the defensive side of the ball. They love to stop the run, I should say. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in this game. I feel like this will be a black and blue game. It's going to be whoever offense and defensive line can win up front at the line of scrimmage because both teams want to run the ball. I'm feeling really good about our 49ers. Obviously, we were on the 7-game win streak. We've won the division already. So what type of performance we get from our Niners? That's something to look after. I think this defense is as healthy as it's been all year. Granted, with all the injuries that we've had, Ken Law is practicing. Khalil Davis is practicing as well. We'll see if they'll be able to play. I'd be surprised if they play this week, but, never know what happens. BP is playing well. You guys see it, the Purdy mania. So I'm excited for this game. This is a team, I think, that has a playoff caliber defense, but offensively with Heineke at the helm, I just don't think they can really score a lot of points versus the 49ers. So I think the 49ers offense and defense will continue to thrive this week. But let's get into Jay's 5 big things.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5 big things.
Number 1, got to protect 13. As I mentioned before, this Washington Commanders football team has a playoff caliber defense. And what do you mean by that, Jay? Well, if you look at their defensive front, they have 3 former first-round draft picks on their defensive line. Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. They can definitely create havoc, in stopping the run and getting after the quarterback. Those 3 gentlemen I just mentioned, they do lead the team in sacks. I think it's somewhere between 6 and 8. All 3 guys have between 6 and 8 sacks. So not only can they stop the run, but they can definitely get after the quarterback. I think we've seen BP do well when faced with adversity, whether it be, him being blitzed or having to make a throw and he knows he's about to take a huge hit, BP has performed pretty well in that area, I feel, but it's still going to be paramount for this offensive line to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, make holes in the running game, and be able to keep Brock Purdy upright. Now, keep in mind, he still is recovering from the oblique and rib injury. So we definitely don't want to see BP take a lot of unnecessary hits. So that's going to be my number one key, man. Got to protect BP, and they are pretty good. They hang their hat, that defense, on their defensive line. That's for sure. Let's get into number 2. One-dimensional offense. The Commanders want to run the ball. Brian Robinson is a load. Last week against the Giants, their offense didn't really impress me, but Brian Robinson definitely stood out as a guy that he usually does not go down with, when he's running through the first tackler. Like, he doesn't usually go down on the first hit. He was carrying Giants defenders last week. Now, granted, he was doing that against, the Giants defense. Let's see what he does against the number 1 defense in a lot of categories, right? But Brian Robinson is a physical runner. He always leans forward, and usually he doesn't get tackled for losses. So it's going to be imperative to shut down the Commanders' running game, and that will make Tyler Heinicke beat you. And I'll take those odds every day of the week. Make Tyler Heinicke beat you, and I think that'll definitely set this team up for success on Sunday. It'll definitely get us closer to a victory if Heinicke has to win the game with his right arm. So make this Commanders offense one-dimensional. Number 3, coverage is key. I mentioned it before. There have been some lapses in judgment, I'll say, with the back end of the secondary, specifically Talanoa Hufanga. Shout out to you. You made the Pro Bowl, a 5th round draft pick. I mean, that's incredible, right? So obviously he's having a hell of a year. Huff is very instinctual, but sometimes he can leave his responsibility and try to make a play. Obviously, when he makes plays, interceptions, he leads the team in interceptions. Huff does. When he does that, we applaud him. But when guys are left open and he left his responsibility and now that offensive player gets a touchdown, obviously we need to work on that. So I think that's going to be key in this game. Don't get beat over the top. I would say they don't have speedsters on the Commanders team at the wide receiver position. Like, they don't have anyone like a Tyreek Hill or a Marquise Goodwin or a Danny Gray. I say they don't have anyone there, but you definitely don't want to let the receivers get behind you. They do have 3 to 4 good receivers, including their tight end, that can make some plays. Heinicke will throw the ball and allow their players to make plays. So definitely going to be important just to play disciplined coverage, especially on the back end, and don't allow anything easy for this Commanders offense. The offense isn't great. They have only scored more than 20 points in like 3 to 4 games this year. So I think the 49ers defense can definitely keep them underneath, 17 points for sure. And the way we do that, disciplined coverage. Number 4. Got to convert these red zone opportunities. I was looking up the stats. The Commanders actually have a top 10 red zone defense when it comes to allowing touchdowns on the road. Interesting stat, right? And the 49ers at home are, I believe, a bottom 5 team as far as converting red zone touchdown opportunities. Obviously, this takes a seasonal stat. In the last 3 games, I think we're average. So I think it's going to be very imperative to score touchdowns when we get down to the red zone. And obviously that goes down to play calling, that goes down to execution. But this is a team and the Commanders that we're playing that I don't think they're on our level. I think defensively, they're pretty good. They're probably a top 12 team defensively, but offensively, they really can't compete with the Niners. So it's important for us. Convert those red zone opportunities. I don't want to see field goals. Let's see some touchdowns and then put this Commanders team away early. So very important to convert those red zone opportunities. Number 5. Turnover city. I don't remember the last time. It may have been 2019. that the 49ers defense created so many turnovers, interceptions, fumbles. They really add up. Obviously, we've got several players on the roster who have either interceptions or fumbles. As I mentioned before, we're tied fourth with 22 turnovers in the NFL. Huff leads the team with 4 interceptions, and there's 9 different players on the roster who have an interception. So, kudos to the secondary. Obviously, the pass rush helps in the quarterback and throwing before they want to, and that helps in turnovers. Tayshaun Gibson, I mean, who would have thought that? Tayshaun Gibson has been playing very well. There hasn't really been a drop off. One could say that with Gibson on the back end, it's really helped this defense go to the next level. So that's going to be imperative. Heineke does have 10 TDs, 5 interceptions. So I think he will turn the ball over in this game as long as we get pressure on him and we play disciplined coverage. So also we have 12 different players who have forced a fumble. So I think that's going to have to continue. Let's get some easy opportunities for our offense. And the way you do that is by turning over the ball and flipping the field position. That's it for Jay's 5 big things. Let's get into Hey Jay.
Hey, Jay.
We have Heather. Appreciate you for, watching the stream and putting in this question. What's good? Heather says, D'Amico said this is the best run game since the Falcons. Does that give you concern? I would say not really. Brian Robinson, when you look at his longest runs of the year, I believe it's less than 20 yards. He's a guy, like I said before, that it's going to take more than one guy to bring him down to the ground. He is a load at the running back position. He runs with power. But no, I'm not too concerned. Our run defense is pretty good. Eric Armstead is back. We may get Javon Kinlaw back. So no, I'm not concerned. If he averages about 3.5 yards a carry, I'll take that right now. But no, I'm not concerned about the Washington football team's running game, but it's definitely a point of emphasis for this defense because that's what the Commanders want to do. But I'm not worried about Robinson. I don't think he'll run for over 100 yards or average more than 5 or 6 yards a carry. But it's definitely a point of emphasis to slow it down to make their offense one-dimensional. Appreciate the question, Heather. We have Jess. What's good? How do the 49ers help Double M versus Montez Sweat? Wow, what a question. Double M is funny. When we don't hear about Double M, usually that means he's playing well. The only time you really hear about Mike McGlinchey is if, he's giving up a sack or he has a holding penalty or something like that. I think he's played pretty well the last few games. Does he have a few blunders every now and again? Yeah, you've seen the tape. You could go on and search on Twitter. But I think one way to help McGlinchey is get rid of the ball fast, less than 3 seconds. That'll kind of negate Montez Sweat and his, pass rushing ability. Also, hey, maybe send a running back out there to help chip Montez Sweat on the way out for a pass pattern or whatever. Also, you can put a tight end next to McGlinchey. They can double team Montez Sweat. Then a tight end can go out and run a pass pattern. But I think those are the 3 ways you could help McGlinchey. Get rid of the ball fast. Running back can help chip block. Also, a tight end can help block as well. And also running the ball. If we run the ball effectively, I think, Mike McGlinchey would much rather run block against Montez Sweat and be an aggressor than be a pass blocker and, allow Montez Sweat to come to him and kind of control the action. So, but those are 3 ways. But great question, Jess, because that's going to be a key matchup in this game. We have Donna Robles. What's good? Donna says, can the 49ers slow down Scary Terry? Now, Scary Terry, he's having an excellent year. I think he's one of the few wide receivers that have had 3 straight seasons of 1,000 yards receiving. So Scary Terry can definitely be a problem. I think if we keep him out of the end zone, I think we'll be just fine. He could have 8 to 10 catches, but as long as he's not in the end zone, I think we'll be fine. I think whoever lines up against him, whether it's Mooney Ward or Demo Lenore, I think they'll be just fine. And what helps the secondary is a great pass rush. We know we have that. And I think that could be a deterrent from allowing Scary Terry to really go off. And we know the 49ers defense, they'll play back as far as their coverage. They'll allow things in front of them. He can have his catches, under 10 yards. We come up, we gain tackle. We do that very well. But as long as we don't allow Terry to get in the end zone, I think we'll be just fine. So yes, we can slow down Scary Terry. Great question, Donna. All right, that's it for the questions. Appreciate all the questions. Now it's time for Fade Away Jay. I believe the 49ers take care of business in this game. We have appropriate fear, as I like to say. This should really not be a close game. I just think this Washington offense is not a playoff caliber offense. And I think the 49ers are hitting their stride with this current win streak. The defense is as healthy as it can get. CMC is balling out. And I just think the Commanders are meeting the 49ers at an inopportune time. Now, if we would have played the Commanders maybe in the first month of the year, I think this would be a more closer game. But I just think the Niners have too many good things going for them. And I think the Commanders, I mean, did you guys see that Monday night game? I mean, were you impressed by what you saw from the Commanders against the Giants? I wasn't impressed at all. I thought the defensive line, we know about them. We know what they can do. But I just wasn't really impressed. Heineke doesn't do anything for me. And, I would much rather take BP over Heineke any day of the week. So as you can tell from this show, obviously I'm taking the 49ers to win, faithful. I got the Niners winning this game 27-16. And the Niners should be able to win this game handily if we take care of business and we play with appropriate fear. That's it for me. Thank you for watching What's Good with yours truly, Jay and the Bay. I'll see you guys next week. And hopefully the Niners will continue that win streak. Go Niners.